It's the blob! It's the blob!
Hey, we're doing blobs. Plasmoids here tonight. On our second last one of this of the Spelljammer set. Plasmoids are amorphous beings with no typical shape. In the presence of other folk, they often adapt a similar shape, but there's little chance of mistaking a plasmoid for anything else. They consume food by osmosis, and the way an amoeba does, and excrete waste through tiny pores. They breathe by absorbing oxygen through another set of pores, and their limbs are strong and flexible enough to grasp and manipulate weapons and tools. Although most plasmoids are translucent grey, they can alter their colour and translucence by absorbing dyes through their pores. Plasmoids don't have internal organs of the usual sort. Their bodies are composed of cells, fibres, plasma-like ooze, and clusters of nerves. These nerves enable a plasmoid to detect light, heat, texture, sound, pain, vibrations. Plasmoids can stiffen the outer layers of their bodies to maintain human-like shapes, so they can wear clothing and accessories. They speak by forcing air out of tubular cavities that constrict to produce sound. When plasmoids sleep, they lose their rigidity and spread out, and are thus sometimes mistaken for a rock or some other feature of the environment. So that's tells me when you go unconscious or when you stop focusing on it, you just go back to a blob shape. It takes some level of consciousness to maintain a human-like figure and thereby wear equipment.
So, plasmoid traits. The creature types an ooze, so obviously hold person's not going to work on you, but pretty good.
Yeah, we'll put a list of the common spells that target humanoids, so you can keep a track of, get a heads up what's going to work and what isn't going to work for you.
Your size is medium or small. I kind of like the idea of changing between them after, like, if you don't absorb something for a while, you shrink down to a small, so you need to actually absorb stuff.
Shrinking as you eat away the matter in you. Yeah, and then when you get a big meal, you grow back up again.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun thing to do.
Your speed being 30 feet, meh.
Yep. Medium-sized
Amorphous. You can squeeze through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide, providing you're not wearing or carrying anything.
Yeah,
and you have...
Yeah, you'd leave that behind. Sorry to interrupt you there, man. Continue on with the rest of that set.
That's right. You have advantage on ability checks you make to initiate or escape a grapple. So that's fantastic. That is, like, paired with the grappler feat level 1, you're doing ridiculous things.
Yeah, and I see you not so much grapple, but absorb some around as you just extend things around and pull things into you. And then if someone tries to do the same to you, you just dollop out of there and leave everything behind. So, yeah, it totally makes sense, and it was smart to include it that way.
Dark vision. I don't like this just because in the original discussion, they talk about the nerves enabling a plasmoid to detect light, heat, texture, sound, pain, and vibrations.
Yep.
Which to me sounds a little bit like tremor sense, mixed with the ability to sense heat and pain, like all these things. And yet, no, I'm sorry, you can only see 60 feet. And it's only light you can see. You can't, like, there's no mention in here of the vibrations you can sense or the heat. I would have really liked to see some interesting blind sense mechanics here.
Yeah, I definitely think something like at least 360-degree vision should have been taken in, which would reduce flanking or some such. But yeah, something I guess had to be chucked in there, and they just went with dark vision.
Yeah, hold breath. You can hold your breath for 1 hour. So...
yeah, you seal the pores that you're using to absorb things in, and you just tell them to use what you've got inside of you. So, yeah, maybe you don't need to
all along for an hour, and then you need to get more. Natural resilience. You have resistance to acid or poison damage, and you've got advantage on saving throws against being poisoned.
Acid and poison. Yeah, so stacked with another subclass, you could start collecting these things and potentially get a couple of them. So watch out, people who want to tank, and particularly tank against magic abilities, not just getting cut up with swords, but that'd give you a nice little... might even help out if it was caster versus caster and their spells being thrown everywhere. So I can see that being definitely handy. Everyone likes resistance.
Oh, it's good to stack resistances, but you're going to feel really special until the Bear Totem Barbarian stands next to you and he's like...
Everything.
How do you get your resistances? Specialized subclass and 6 feats. What about you? 3rd level. Then we've got Shape Self, which is the interesting ability of being able to reshape your body to give yourself a head, 1 arm or 2 arms, 1 leg or 2 legs.
Yep.
Basically make a little body that has makeshift hands and feet. You could give yourself sausage fingers and go, "Daddy, would you like some sausage?" Or, if like for a really, really crazy move, you could revert to a limbless blob. And when you are using your human-like shape, you can wear clothing and armor made for humanoid your size. So what do you think of that so far?
I think it needs a little bow tie. So far, I like it. It shows, obviously, that you need to be concentrating in some way to maintain a shape. And if you sleep or become unconscious, you're probably going to revert back to blob form, which means I wonder if it takes you 10 minutes to put armor on or off, or if you can just slide straight in.
Oh, you got to be able to slide straight in.
You want to tell us about the bonus action? You want to tell us about the bonus action that's tied to this Shape Self?
Yeah, as a bonus action, you can extrude a giant wang that is up to 6 inches wide and 10 foot long, and obviously compensating for something in your real life, or reabsorb it back into your body, obviously compensating for something in real life. As part of the same bonus action, you can use this pseudopod or wang to manipulate an object, open and close a door or container, pick up or set down a tiny object, and the pseudopod contains no sensory organs and can't attack, activate magic items, or lift more than 10 pounds. Pretty amazing.
This is setting up the rule to stop you going, why can't I have more sets of limbs? Here's the writing. This tells you, you can have 1 extra. You've got your 2 arms, your 2 legs, your head-like thing, and you can have 1 extra, but it's limited. So they obviously had to put some limit to stop people just carrying 100 small crossbows or whatever the case may be. This is what they've gone with to lock it into some sort of mechanic that's usable rather than just crazy. But I still see it as the we talked about the Orville before, the blob character in that. He was operating a spacesuit a little while ago, and being able to move into it and fill it all up. So it's definitely a cool option to do.
Yeah, I am a little bit disappointed by this ability just because when I first saw it, I thought pseudopod was like you pull it off like a seed or something out of you, and you can throw it. And I was picturing like someone running through a room and then pulling this thing off and throwing a bit of themselves onto the wall near a control panel, and this arm comes out of it and types the code in, which unlocks. And I was thinking, how cool! Like it's kind of like a mage hand, but you're throwing your goo around. And then I looked up pseudopod, and it just means wang.
Yeah, just another word for wang.
Or pseudo wang.
Character concepts. What do you reckon? How are you going to play this? They're very alien. So how are you going to run this?
Well, I think I'd have to go with the Artificer Armorer.
Oh yeah,
where the party meets my character, and the character has these tubes running all over the armor of this green fuel or solution that powers the suit.
Oh yeah.
But then, when it's time to actually take the armor off, it's basically a little old, miner style butt port that opens up and the goo just comes out and then forms into a limbless blob before taking form as a humanoid shape.
What's the matter, guys? Don't you recognize me? We've been fighting alongside each other for a number of adventures.
Yeah, and it'd be really cool if it couldn't, when it's talking like that, it couldn't actually talk. It had to get back into the suit to talk.
To operate the controls.
Yeah, it's got some sort of translation modulator inside the suit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool way of doing it. I like it how you tie it into the class as well. I think the Astral Monk could go cool with this, the extra limbs and things like that. We're making some wild things here, or even our Fathomless Warlock could be an extension, that extra tentacle getting around
Definitely.
there. That could
Cool.
tie into these things immediately, the first ones that come to mind. But I guess what I'd want to play, I love your idea, but yeah, I mean, I'm an ooze, so I keep thinking back to Faerunian lore, where Jubilex, the one of the chaotically evil Bissell creatures, controls slimes. So potentially I'm thinking you used to be attached to that, but as you've gotten further and further away from the material, from the abyssal plane, you potentially picked up some intelligence. Maybe you absorbed a brain somewhere along the lines, and you picked up a bit of intelligence. And now you've got free spirit, and you can do some things, but you're still too scared to go too near the abyss because you don't want to get taken back and reabsorbed into Jubilex's wobbly body. I could also see him played a little bit like the slime creature in Futurama. Gets the paper route and harasses the characters and just puts things inside of him all the time. I can see those sort of mechanics being played. But I'm thinking that, once again, another alien-like creature whose whole methods and ways are totally different, and after riding a giant space hamster, has to sit there getting all the fur out of himself. And I think the Astral Monk or the Fathomless Warlock, that is the way to go. And we've talked about those on other videos.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good one to do. I'm actually thinking of a video we did do where I think it was the Unity Cleric, when the people stay together all the time, they can teleport to each other.
Mm.
Yeah, having 3 people play as a goo, and then they can teleport to each other and join together like Gotan and Trunks or something.
Yeah.
Make themselves into bigger sizes, like a big Power Ranger Zord sort of thing. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of homebrew stuff I'd love to do with this race.
Yeah, as you lose hit points, you can lose size, and as you gain hit points, you can grow back up, and maybe you become enlarged and become large, for much like the Runic Knight does, sort of thing, for consuming things. Or maybe you could just team up with other ones and become this huge thing of all these limbs coming out fighting that you made the Ooze team, and that could be real cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Runic Knight doing this one. That would be cool, actually.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, thanks for joining us. One to go. Another different one. Non-humanoids. We're stacking them. And
yeah, I'm not very keen to the next one. I'm 3 keen.
3 keen to do it. Love it.
All right,
I'll catch you for the next one then, Mitch.
See you then, buddy.
See ya.